speak specifically for this girl. And he woke me up in the middle of my sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was praying, and I knew that was God prompting me to pray. And I was praying, and he gave me one word. And I knew it was for these girls tonight. And how many of us know God could just say one word, and it would answer so many prayers, it would answer so many problems, and give us so much peace. And that's what happened to me that night. And that one word he gave me was power. And the scripture that he wants me to use to reinforce this message tonight is from 2 Timothy 2:14. And it said, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline. I'm going to say it again because I want you girls to remember it on the tablets of your heart. He said, I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline. So it's power. Power is authority. It is being in control. It doesn't beg or ask for something. It demands for something to happen, right? For example, when we're growing up in our mom's house, she tells us we're going to wake up, we're going to go to school, how we're going to wear our hair. Who's mommy tells us 12? It doesn't matter. Mama tells us what to do. And rightfully so, because that's her role in our life. But I want to share a little bit about how I grew up. Unfortunately for my mom, she had given her power over to drugs. She was addicted to crack for over 20 years, and my brother and I was exposed to a lot of things because of her addiction. Violence was a normalcy in my house. I've seen my mom pulled and beaten and dragged in the apartment, blood all over the place on the walls. At one point, I remember drug dealers living in our home, so it was nothing to see knives and guns and drugs around the apartment. And I remember one day a drug dealer, he shot his gun up in our house, and he pointed the gun directly to my mother while I was standing next to her, and told me, Erica, if you don't want to see me kill your mother, you need to leave. So that was normal in my house. So imagine, I didn't feel like I had any kind of control. Men came in and out of the house who were supposed to be my mom's friends, and whom I called my uncle. They would come into the room where I slept, molest me, rape me. I was a victim of sexual abuse. So again, I had no kind of control, not even over my own body. So imagine me going to school thinking that I could get away from that life for a few hours of the day. Hang out with my friends, have fun, and not even think about what was going on at home. But instead, I was bullied. I'm light-skinned, y'all can see that. I have freckles, I had super curly hair, and I just looked different from everybody at my school. And what bullying does, they're ignorant. If something looks unfamiliar to them and they don't understand it, they make fun of it. And so I had to deal with the fact that I was different. I had to deal with the fact that my mother had an addiction, because she was known as the neighborhood crackhead. So they called me crack baby, they called me Texas tooth baby, they made fun of the clothes that I wore, because possibly I had to wear the same thing that I wore the day before. Not understanding that my mom probably knocked us out of the house and didn't have anywhere to sleep in the park. So those are the things I had to go through. But there was one thing that God blessed me with, and I was really smart. He blessed me academically. And I did my work. There was all things that I had to do. My teachers, they identified something special in me. They said, Erica, you're going to be great. You are so smart. You're so special. And they even tried to, skip me up 2 grades when my mom told me no. But I held on to those compliments that my teacher gave me. They validated me, things that I wasn't getting at home. And it also offered me a piece of hope, a hope that I really have the same life that my mother was introducing me to. And so even those days when I went home after school and the door was locked, I did my homework and I made sure my brother did his too. And in a sense, I had power. Looking back on it, I realized that power doesn't come the way that we think it does. On TV, you see it, telling people what to do or having money and success. But strength is powerful. For me to be able to go to school and deal with the things at home that I was dealing with and keep my head up high and still focus on something that was important and still have a vision for my life, that was nothing but God. Years passed and my mother, I guess she was stronger, and she went to prison. And so my brother and I had to go to foster care. So again, here I'm thinking, I have no control over my life. I'm being told to live with strangers. I'm being told to go to school with people whom I don't know, and I really didn't want to know. I started to be comfortable in that environment that I was growing up in. Finally, after bouncing around from home to home, family. They introduced me to Christ first and above anything else. Like, I knew who God was in Vacation Bible School and the songs that we sang, but at this house, I learned who He was. I learned about the true character of God. And so that planted seeds in me. And so I was thankful. I even felt like I had a little control, because I had a little freedom to go hang out with friends. I just had a normal life. I went off to college, and it offered a whole different life for me. I started thinking that I didn't have the power that I was supposed to have. So I started chasing and looking for it in boys. And remember those guys, they took my innocence away from me. And so I thought power was in the form of beauty and sex and love and being told that I'm beautiful and being told all these things. And at certain moments, it did empower me. It made me feel good about myself. But it only lasted temporarily. I always felt unfulfilled, and I didn't understand why. I had a boyfriend. He told me that I was smart, that I was pretty, and I thought that was going to complete me, because that's what I thought, that's what that power was. But knowing God and experiencing Him are two different things. When I finally got to that point, I had an experience with God. He revealed to me, "You looking for power in all the wrong places. I gave it to you." And the thing with God, He says in His Word that when He gives us something, it's irreversible. That means He never takes it back. We either misuse it or don't use it. And I wasn't using the power and the authority that God had given me. And once I recognized that power that God has given me, the vision for my life started to change. I started to know my own self-worth. I didn't have to get it from anybody else. I believed what God told me about myself, and I had to believe and walk in that thing. And so I want to specifically talk to the girls that are about to graduate, actually everybody, because these are for the adults too, and even myself. Sometimes we forget the authority that God has given us with the things that He tells us to do, and we allow the enemy to come in and manipulate us and lie to us, and we start to believe it. So this is actually for everybody, but specifically for the graduates, I don't know exactly where you are, but when you go to college, it's going to offer you this glitz and this glamour, and you're going to have this freedom that Mama can tell me what to do. But don't conform to what your classmates and your friends are doing. I know you have to go through some experiences, but to conform is basically you giving your power away. Because nobody can take it. You're just giving it away slowly but surely. And the vision that you have for your life and those goals that you're trying to accomplish, it starts diminishing. You start settling. You start doubting yourself and not recognizing your own beauty and the security that you should have from within. And so I really charge you girls to just keep focused and recognize the power that God has given you. And it doesn't matter what the world says that you're supposed to be, because honestly, I'm supposed to be a teen mom, on drugs, strung out, in prison, or dead. But God's power contradicts what the world says, right? And so the only difference between having an ordinary life and an extraordinary life, is the decision of activating your power. So you girls choose wisely.